Hey everyone, this time on Tim Talks Audio, we're checking out the newest from Black Salt Audio. This is TeloFi. First, thanks to the guys over at Black Salt Audio for sending over TeloFi. You've probably heard it before. There's a section in the song, maybe it's the beginning, maybe it's the bridge, where everything kind of just quiets down, gets filtered out, and there's a whole bunch of other things going on, making it sound a little bit smaller. This way, when you get to the big transition moment, you have this explosion of sound. The entire frequency range opens up. And that's what TeloFi is here to do. It's to make that whole process, instead of it being multiple plugins, it's now just one. So let's dive into the DAW and check out TeloFi. So here it is. There's not a lot going on. It's literally 7 controls: effect, tone, comp, dirt, slap, a mix control, and an output adjustment, in case you're doing too much and you just kind of need to balance things right back out. Effect manipulates the frequency range and how much or little is getting filtered out. So you can see as we're kind of low in the percentage, we're not doing too much, but as we increase this, we're actually going to be filtering more towards the mid-range and just getting rid of the extreme tops and the extreme bottoms. And the stronger you go with this, the more of just the standard information from the top and bottom you're going to be filtering out. Tone is like an EQ control. You can bring it low or you can bring it high to emphasize one way or the other. Comp is what you think it is. It's a built-in compressor, so you can squish things down if you really need to. Dirt is some extra saturation if you want to make things real dirty. And slap is exactly what you think. It's a little bit of a slap delay, just kind of blend it in. And then at this point, I don't think we need to go over it, but mix is parallel processing. If you want to let some of the original signal through, just dial this back and blend to taste. And that's it. That's all of the controls. Now let's take a listen to this in action. I'm at the start of this song, and it starts with this cool little intro, and I'm going to make sure that TeloFi is in bypass. This is how it is on its own. So it's a decent 8-bar intro. There's a lot going on, but there's also a lot of room to make this really hit when we get to the next section of the song. So let's take this out of bypass and just start messing around with the controls and try to dial something in. Okay, so we've definitely restricted this down, and if we start the song like this, it's not bad. It's small, and it allows for room for growth, and we kind of want that. We want to intrigue the listener to get ready for what's happening next. But how can we do this even better? Well, now we can bring automation in, and I just want to manipulate effect and tone. I want to alter this as this whole intro thing is going. I kind of want it to open up and get the listener ready for when everything starts happening. So let's go ahead and do just that. I'm going to switch the plugin to touch mode. Now we're just going to do some automation on the plugin itself. So let's hit play, and it won't start writing automation until I actually click, hold, and change something within one of the parameters of the plugin. And I'm going to start with effect. Okay, I like what we did there. Now we're going to switch over to tone. I'm actually just going to increase the tone and make it brighter and a little bit more brittle as we're actually opening up the frequency spectrum. All right, cool. I like what we have so far. Now what I'm going to do is just fast forward to the end, and I'm going to take the plugin, which is across my mix bus, and just throw it in the bypass, and it will write this automation as well. I fast forwarded to the end because we don't need to hear everything. And now if we switch this back over to read, everything we did should happen. So let's go back to our start and we'll listen to the song kind of open up and then hit right at the downbeat of the next section. Now all we have to do is go in and clean up these automation. And here's the lane. Let's get the mixer out of the way and we'll go right to our mix bus and just make this a bit bigger so we can affect it and make sure that everything is exactly where we need it to be. Now, first things first, I don't want this coming out of bypass, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. I want this happening exactly at this downbeat. So we're gonna swing this right to the grid there, and I'm gonna ignore that bit there. Oops, let's not ignore that bit, and we'll just undo real quick. Hooray, we're working in digital audio, nothing is destructive. Let's switch over to the tone effect, and I just want to have this go all the way until that same downbeat, and we'll do the same thing with effect, and have this kind of just land into its position right actually, we'll put this one a little bit after the beat because we're going to go into the bypass anyway, so it'll be fine. We can bring this all the way over. That's the end of our event. Now, let's listen one last time. Well, I hope I can salvage the audio. While we're cleaning up our automation, we do have all of these little moves, but honestly, I do just want this to be a nice, clean, just straight line to do the move. So we can just take this and do something kind of like that. And maybe we'll even throw a little bit of a curve in, and we'll do the same thing for tone, which seems to have lost my automation, but that's fine. We can just kind of do the opposite of what effect is doing, and we'll change the curve for this one as well. Now, let's take a listen. If I really wanted, I could do one more thing and start automating the mix control. This way you can kind of hear the original coming through. Even though we are opening up the effect and hearing more of the frequency range, I kind of want to mess with the mix knob in my automation. So let's go back to touch and do this one last time. And we'll do it from about midpoint here. Cool, now that we've done that, we go right back to read, maybe clean this up a little, and now let's take a listen to our effect and what we've done. Here's a little tip. When you're doing something like this, where you're filtering out the top and bottom and you're left with only mid-range, something to take into consideration is when you're starting with only mid-range and then you're opening up to the entire frequency spectrum, when that big explosion or change happens, the mid-range is almost going to sound like it doesn't get any bigger. It actually gets a little bit smaller because now it's competing with everything else in the frequency spectrum. Here's an easy way to get around it, and this is a little tip that comes from Andrew Wade. I saw this in a video from him. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our mix bus, and the easiest way to do it is I'll hit F3 to bring this up, and this is my mix bus here. This is pre because this is a session from somebody else that I'm working on. I'm going to right click and I'm going to edit the volume automation. Now I can get the mixer back out of the way, and here we go. This is our volume automation, and there's this ramp up that's going on. But what I want to do is add a node here right at that downbeat. And then I'm just going to grab the beginning section here and bring it down a little bit. I'm going to go, let's go 2.5 dB. So what it's going to do is our mid-range, which is all we're hearing, is going to be a little bit quieter. And then as we open up the frequency spectrum and we approach the big explosion and the big change in our music, then we're going to get a nice little volume bump. And the mid-range is going to sound like it's hitting even harder. I'm going to get rid of this little node because we don't need it. And now let's take a listen. And just like that, you now have this big hit on the change from the intro to the rest of the song. There's just these tiny little movements, all these little changes that are going to help elevate and entice the listener to continue listening. And really, that's what we want. We want them listening to our songs on repeat if we can, because they love our music. Now, do I need to go in and refine this a little so that little click that happens at the start isn't there? Yes, that's on me, but we can easily go in and adjust our automation points to avoid any of that. And then all of those transitions and any little pops would be out of the question, and you just have this gigantic change that brings the listener in saying, wow, something's weird, something's different. Oh goodness, what's happening? Oh wow, this got real big and I like it. So there it is, that's TeloFi. If you want to pick up your own copy of this plugin, use the link down in the description. That's all for now. If you found anything informative, please like and share the video. If you're looking to join a community, get some mix feedback, or just want to talk shop with a bunch of other people, join the Discord, link down below. If you're looking for mixing or lesson information, check out timplansbaum.com. And if you have a question, ask it in the comments and I'll answer it in a future video. Thanks for watching.